I made a video recently speculating on the effectiveness of no backup plans with the buff they announced before the release of Season of the Deep. This is the follow up for that video where I actually go through and tell you what I think after using it for the last couple days. It is awesome. If you enjoy shotguns, no backup plans is a really good time. I found myself really enjoying the lightweight and rapid fire frames when using shotguns as an ad clear tool, while Chaperone, Lord of Wolves, and Duality were also fun as well. For DPS, Legend of Acreus is really potent for the content I was using it for, which was Legend difficulty lost sectors, legendary campaign missions, and general Neomuna activities for testing. It's honestly really funny seeing Fourth Horseman evaporate enemies while the 35% damage buff is active from just having Void Overshield. Conditional Finality and anything with Trench Barrel are also really fun for DPS and champion damage. Is this the most meta exotic in the world that all Titans should be using? No, it's not the best combo out there since shotguns are rather limited when it comes to range and ammo reserves, but if you enjoy shotguns in PvE, this is a dream come true. Enemies that usually would take 2 shots from Wastelander or Without Remorse would only take 1 shot, and improving ammo economy for ad clear is one overlooked positive that this exotic brings to the table, especially if you want to run double special with a shotgun and something else. If you take into account the Void Overshield you're getting from this, you can be a lot more aggressive knowing you can just refresh your Void Overshield with rapid shotgun kills, so it promotes a more gung-ho, balls-to-the-wall playstyle, which otherwise would definitely be ill-advised in higher-end content. Obviously, there's a lot more to surviving endgame content than just throwing no backup plans on and going apeshit with a shotgun, but in the right hands it can be really strong. It's not going to shake up the PvE meta by any stretch, but it could see some raid bosses have more diverse DPS strategies given conditional finality is already really good, and Acreus and Fourth Horseman are just stupid fun. We could also see a resurgence of the Anarchy and Double Slug strat, since giving a 35% increase to the shotgun part of that mess seriously kicks up the damage output of that combo by a good amount. And after testing, I confirmed that you can stack Surge mods with this damage boost, so running Arc Surge plus Anarchy and First In Last Out or another Arc Slug you like, you can theoretically output some serious, maybe even competitive damage on a boss. I don't have hard data for you unfortunately since my raid teams haven't raided this season yet, but once I do have some footage of Double Slug Anarchy plus no backup plans, I'll show you what the outcome of that is. I imagine this is going to make Anarchy Double Slug a nearly meta strategy for Titans, but we'll have to see where it stands against other DPS options within the range of a slug, since there are already some really good burst and sustain options within that range, like Lament, Acreus, Parasite, and more. You can push out the range of your slugs with a Lunafaction well, but that is heavily dependent on what your well lock wants to run. Either way, I think no backup plans makes shotguns a really solid choice for Titans, and I'm honestly surprised that the damage buff comes out to 35%, the equivalent of having bait and switch on all of your shotguns. The downsides, however, are pretty obvious. Shotguns are good in close proximity, however, their range is lacking compared to other options, and you are putting yourself in a lot of danger if you decide to use this exotic to its full potential in higher end content. Generally, you do want more rangy options when it comes to that kind of difficulty. It's the same reason scout rifles are so strong for Grandmaster Nightfalls and Master Raids, and SMGs start to fall off pretty heavily around that tier of difficulty. In higher end content, you are also less likely to get Void Overshield procced from rapid final blows since you'll be using more ammo to down enemies in something like a GM, allowing you to quickly run out of reserves if you aren't careful. Can it be good in endgame PvE? Absolutely. Like I said before, in the right hands, this could be a really effective option. But as it stands, I think it will take a lot more skill to pull off than just using Heart of Immos Light, Synthoceps, or Abeyant Leap. I think you would have to really enjoy the gameplay loop to find it worth using in that kind of content, since there are objectively better options. I personally will be using it despite its shortcomings because I love shotguns and I love being able to proc Void Overshield without expending my abilities, but I can understand if other people wouldn't want to use it because of its incredibly niche ability, only applying to the Void subclass while using a shotgun. If I were to place it on a tier list, it would go in the A tier for me. It's really strong for general content, making short work of most enemies, having a pretty easy activation requirement, a really good damage buff, and constant uptime if you're sitting behind a Bastion rally barricade. And for a very niche exotic, the effects are incredibly potent, and I think Bungie did an incredible job with the rework. I can't put it in the S tier due to its incredibly niche and limited usage, along with the questionable viability of using the full extent of its abilities in the most difficult endgame content. I can potentially see this being run in Master and Day 1 raids if the boss fights are in close enough proximity for shotguns to shine. However, we will have to see just how much damage this exotic can put out with different DPS strategies involving shotguns. Can't say definitively if it's going to be a top tier damage option without first seeing damage numbers compared in a raid scenario. So I'll get on that and get back to you guys when I have that data in hand. With that being said, I'm satisfied with the rework, and that will be all from me today. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate your time as always. My name is KaylieTheLazy, and I'll see you guys next time. Take care.